This is the production line for the TaylorMade Stealth driver, a driver that took over 20 years of research and development, culminating in the first fully faced carbon driver in the world. But what would it be like to use a 20-year-old driver now? How different could these drivers possibly be?
Federer goes to his knees this time as a Wimbledon champion.
The green jacket is going north of the border. Mike Weir has won the Masters.
Week after week, more PGA Tour professionals play TaylorMade drivers. TaylorMade, the #1 driver in golf.
I've travelled across the world to visit the TaylorMade headquarters in California and look back at the history of the TaylorMade driver and the technological journey that led them to their first carbon wood. I met up with Brian Bazzel, Vice President of Product Creation, to take a look through the most iconic TaylorMade drivers of the last 20 years.
So the R510, that's the oldest one we've got here. Really, what was the biggest tech story at this point?
It was really about the inverted cone technology.
TaylorMade's famous inverted cone technology, which expands the area of the club face that delivers fast ball speed, promoting more distance on miss hits.
You know, as we're getting to the speed limit of drivers in the face for the first time, that it wasn't going to be just about one spot in the face, but now for the golfer who doesn't always hit it right in the center, we were going to expand that. And that's what that technology did.
The shaft feels a lot heavier than what you'd have from
Yeah,
like
definitely.
now.
TaylorMade introduces a driver that scientifically adapts to your swing.
The next innovation in driver design was the adjustable weight technology that allowed people to disperse weight around the driver head to affect the shape of their ball flight.
Driver, 6 trajectories.
So this was pretty much the first driver with adjustable weights on the market.
If somebody was slicing it and they needed to straighten out their ball flight, that you could literally move the heavier weights into the heel of the driver and all of a sudden it would improve that ball flight. I mean, that was mind-blowing for so many golfers, and it in some ways was, you know, selling hope to them that there was something better than what they had.
Right, let's see how we get on with this one. That's actually really nice.
A step up from a step up from the 510.
Definitely felt a lot easier to hit. I think a lot of that came down to the shaft setup as well.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Nick Faldo, here to tell you about TaylorMade's remarkable new R9 driver.
3 years later, in 2009, TaylorMade released the R9 driver with groundbreaking loft sleeve technology. This allowed the golfer to adjust the face, lie and loft of their golf club. This development would mean golfers could now truly customise their golf club to suit their own swing.
It's truly amazing.
This was sort of like a big step forward with the loft sleeve. At that time, we call it the FCT sleeve, flight control technology. And every driver from that point forward essentially has used some form of that. Certainly a game changer from a fitting perspective. I mean, it just overnight was incredible.
Wow, this looks so much bigger. Like it's so much more elongated at the back than either of the previous ones.
Another good one.
Pretty good ball flight. Little spinnier,
Yep.
but felt easier to hit. Felt like I could swing a bad shot and it would still be all right.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
Which is always good.
The TaylorMade SLDR. It was
In 2013, TaylorMade introduced the first sliding weight technology to their drivers, making it possible to easily adjust the weight on the bottom of the driver head. Golfers were now able to promote a fade or a draw dynamically without removing weights from the club head.
TaylorMade SLDR. It's time to loft up.
You have the first sliding weight, which is very cool. You don't have to take the weight out. You can move it heel to toe and get draw or fade. And it was a low forward center of gravity, which, as you all know, and as you can see in a launch monitor, you start to get speed. You know, and speed is huge. People want to hit it farther. And this was a recipe to do that. Low spin and a lot of ball speed.
It would be interesting to hit this and see if the ball flight's different and also what the spin is like compared to the others.
definitely a flatter flight.
Yeah, a lot flatter.
Yeah.
Actually, really straight though. So next up in here, we've got the M4, and this was all about the twist face story.
Face it, your driver face is outdated.
The M4 driver was launched in 2018, and this driver was all about the twist face technology. When golfers miss-hit a shot and catch the ball off centre, the driver face is angled to counteract those misses, making the club more consistent and allowing the golfer to hopefully hit more fairways.
Only from TaylorMade.
You know, when people were hitting it high toe, for example, they were on average a little bit more closed at impact. That completely changed the way we were looking at the face and how we needed to formulate the face. It wasn't just this traditional bulge and roll, but twist face kind of emerged. That when you start to put the inputs of what golfers were doing on those mishits, that you needed actually a different face to counteract those misses so that you'd hit it straighter.
I feel like I need to hit this off center now just to show
That
what
gonna
it
be
can
hard for
do. Definitely not going to be that hard for me. It's better. So next up we've got Sim.
In order to improve the way a driver performs, we had to drastically change its shape.
The Sim driver stood for shape in motion, and it was incredibly unique in its design and featured the most dramatic shape changes to the driver head that we had seen in decades. These new shape changes really improved aerodynamics in the downswing, allowing people to gain speed, and also allowed the driver to keep more weight in the back and the edges of the club head to drive up that MOI.
The new Sim driver, only from TaylorMade.
This was like the first one I was really involved with, like covering. And
Okay.
I remember the whole shaping story was like super interesting.
Yes.
How much did you have to research? Because that's a dramatic shape change
Yep.
from this on the sole.
Yep.
To kind of go with that design.
Well, I think one of the best views that showcases it is when you look at the toe view. It almost separates the crown from this sole, almost a keel of a boat, which allowed us to get that weight low and back, but yet keep the crown sort of high, which is what you need to keep the airflow attached and make it faster.
I loved the look of this golf club, and I loved the fact I got quicker when I started using this golf club. Like, you could tell the shaping definitely helped with like your speed and like that area, like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely draws.
Yeah, which was good. That was part of the recipe for that particular one. Yep.
And now we're all the way up to today.
We now arrive at the most recent driver in the TaylorMade collection, the Stealth 2 driver. This club builds on that original carbon wood from last year, and is a culmination of all the driver technology that TaylorMade have so far. The big story here is still the carbon face, and TaylorMade were really keen to move away from that titanium, and again, as we saw with the Stealth driver, the club face uses 20 layers of overlapping carbon fibre to make this new club face. It's lighter, which creates more ball speed, and it allows more weight to be redistributed in other places in the club head where it is more beneficial.
For the first time, more carbon fiber than any other material, whereas, and this was, titanium back in the day, that was hugely important and came from steel and so on and so forth, but now carbon is taking over and we're in this sort of new era. But it's coming in so many different forms too. Like the crown is different than the sole, which is different than the face. It's all carbon fiber, but they're completely different animals. It's insane to look at, especially as you go back in time here, that not only the engineering, the performance, but the design language, but it's completely different, right?
I think I'll stick with this one.
Yeah, long and straight.
Over the past 40 years, you've inspired us to make a lot of great drivers.
This journey through the years shows how much drivers have come on, and I can't wait to see where they will be a decade from now.
To see all the technologies that still reside is awesome because they mean something, and you're not just doing it just to tell a story. You're doing it because it helps the golfer.
What I think interesting is basically every technology that's come through all these older models is still in this model. So it shows you how good they were. But also, I think you get that story a lot from the consumer, like how can this driver possibly be any better? But you can see just how much has changed and why would there be a reason that it wouldn't continue to do so.
Well, if we have anything to do with it, it will yeah, we'll always be on this journey and hopefully always bringing out something better.